Welcome, everybody. How are you? Sounds good. So sorry to start a little bit late. This is our first time we're doing the slam after library hours, so it's a little different for us, and we're actually going to move the slam to Wednesday nights because we're open until 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights. It's not going to happen. There'll be one more in January. I think it's the 12th. That will be on the Thursday, and then after that they'll be on Wednesday. So hopefully that's not a deal breaker for you all, but that's what we're going to do. How many people are new here tonight? Woo! All right, yeah, I saw a lot of, I swear I saw more new faces come in. Are you all raising your hands who are new? Okay, oh, okay. I swear there were 20 new people. So I'm Blaine Ross, this is Ann LaValle. We're both reference assistants here at the Beaverton Library, and since most of you have been here before, you know what the Storyslam's all about. The September one's kind of special because it's part of Beaverton's Welcoming Week. And the Welcoming Week is, I'm sorry, I have to look at some print here. It's on behalf of the city of Beaverton. It's part of a week-long celebration and that brings together immigrants, refugees, and US-born residents to raise awareness of the benefits of welcoming everyone. So there's events going on all week. I believe there's 15 different events. There's one, the International Day is this Saturday, and I wanted to give a special shout out to that because Habiba Otto, who's a well-known teller here in Portland, she's going to be performing there in the afternoon, I believe. We have flyers for Welcoming Week out front. You should grab one. It's got all the events. So hopefully you can catch some of those that are going on. And I also wanted to let you know that we have a documentary maker who's making a documentary about the Beaverton Library, and she's filming here tonight. And so some of this footage may get used in the documentary. It would be only little pieces of it. So hopefully nobody has a problem with that. If you do, if you get up here and tell a story and you don't want to be in the film, you could say something to her, but here's my recommendation. They're not going to use any bad footage. If you're up here going, they're not going to use that. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. There may be only just a few seconds in there. It's going to be about a 20-minute film, and it covers the whole library. So they're just taking raw footage. So, and of course, I'm shooting it as well. And as you know, I put them on YouTube, and I send out the link. So you're always welcome if you don't want to be part of that to let me know, and I will edit you out. I prefer not to do it. It's the editing software on YouTube isn't that great, and I don't have a lot of time. So please stay in the film. They're a lot of fun. Are people watching the videos sometimes? Do you go back and watch yourself? Good, great. I'm sorry, I got a lot to go over here. So those are my disclaimers. The bathrooms are, of course, out in the lobby. They're open. If you have a cell phone, please silence it. I want to mention a couple other upcoming events. In November, there's going to be a nationally renowned teller here, Oba William King. He's coming in for the Portland Storytellers Guild, and there's a flyer out there for that. That'll be during the weekend of, Patrick, can you refresh my memory, where are you? November 17th, which is a Friday?
No, it's Saturday.
Saturday evening, yes, okay. And then on Sunday, I'm going to bring him here. So he's going to be here Sunday afternoon on November 18th, and there's going to be an hour-long show down here. I think it's going to start at 3. I don't have a flyer made for it yet, but watch for that. It'll be coming out of the library soon. So he's really good. One other quick thing, the big Art of the Story Festival in the spring, we now have dates set. It will be the week of, again, the last week of April, the first part of May. I think it's April 28th to the 4th. I don't have a firm date for the slam here yet, but it will either be that Saturday, the 28th, or the Saturday before that. So watch for more information on that. Okay, enough of all that stuff. So most people know how this works. There's a few new people here. All the tellers have submitted their names. We should get to everybody tonight. You have 5 to 8 minutes to tell your true story. It must be a true story. You can't read your story. I think most people know that. And Ann over here's got a little rattle, and if you rattle on too much, she's going to shake the rattle. I don't think that ever happens, and it's pretty rare that we do the rattle. So, what else am I forgetting, Ann? You always remind me of something. I'm sweating. Is everyone, it's hot down here. I've been running around all day dealing. Oh, I know what I'm forgetting. I spent all day with the OLCC trying to get our permit settled for the Fermentation Festival, which is next Saturday. We're going to have beer and next Sunday. I don't normally work Sundays, so I'm trying to get it moved to Saturday. It's going to be on Sunday from 1 to 4. We're going to have a bunch of fermenters here, and we've got 2 breweries and a cider house here who are going to be offering samples. So it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of red tape that we had to go through to get this, so make sure you come. It's going to be fun. So put that on your schedule. Okay, I don't have anything else to say.
How do we access the YouTube?
Oh, well, are you on the email list? Okay, so I usually send out a link to the channel. You can put my name into YouTube, and my channel comes up. I'm not at the top, but I'm like 4 down. If you put in Blaine Ross, Beaverton City Library, it should come up. And it's got a lot of videos on there, so I try and label them. It usually brings up the newest ones first. So I just got the videos up from the last slam. They're there now. But it does take me a little while to go through because I've got a lot of other things going on, but I do try and get them up so people can see. And also, that reminds me, if you're not getting emails and you gave me an email, that means that I can't read your email, because I get about 10 to 12 bounce backs every time I send this out. So we do have a little form out front, so when you're done, you can always, it's a survey about how you like the show, but it has a place to put your email. If you want to get on the email list, put your email on there and I'll add you to the list, and I send out emails to tell you about the shows and a reminder. Any other questions? All right, so Ann's gonna, I'm tired of talking. Let's hear somebody else. Oh, and just let me know if you're teller, if you come up, I'll adjust the microphone for you, or if you don't want the stand at all, I'll pull it out and get you all set up.
All right, the first teller is Vivian.
Vivian, come on up. So we have a lot of returning, I think we have 3 new tellers tonight. Most everyone up here has been up here before, so they're having another go at it. Be careful there, Vivian, on the steps. I see that the Civic Theater has nailed down a small tripping hazard. Well, I'm blaming the Civic Theater. I don't know if it's them. Are you going to use the stand?
I don't think I'll
Hi, my name's Vivian. When I saw that it was on Horizons, I did what any normal person would do. I looked it up in the dictionary. And when it's talking about Horizons, not, the thing out there on the edge. Oh, and there's also stuff about soil, but about people, their experiences, their knowledge, their perceptions. And that's what they are talking about when they talk about broadening your horizons. And this year, I turned 65, and that's definitely broadening one's horizons. When I was heading to college, I had 2 possible things that I wanted to go for. One was library, but it was like, you have to have like a master's degree, be in college forever. And the other was mathematics. So I went with mathematics. At the end of my freshman year, I was engaged to a senior math person who was going to graduate. And I wanted to take this junior level course, so I talked to him and said, well, you take this course with me, so when I get lost, you can help me. This last June, our grandson, our youngest grandson, graduated from high school. And we're having dinner afterwards, and he is still complaining about this math course, that it made no sense. I got a B, he got a C. And And you would think, you know, that now math means nothing. And amazingly, one of the things I'm working on right now is looking at prime numbers. So I have all these little notebooks with numbers written out and that. So that's one of the things about broadening horizons. The other, back to library, and that I was going to be in school forever. Well, yes. And if I get more money, guess where I would be heading back to? School. But I do work here at the library as a volunteer, and it is an exciting experience. At one point, I was going to school in Indiana at a place called Rome City, and there's this lake, and there's this home of this author. And the school had collected all the first edition, or copies of all the first editions of this author's book. And at the end of our time in there, we built a cabinet to store these in, and then we had a tea for the ladies that were at the Gene Stratton Porter house across the pond. And I'm like, I need to read these books. You know when I read the first one? 2 months ago. And I'm like, why did I wait so long? And right now, the library's volunteers have this thing called Volunteer Verb Challenge. And we're supposed to write about classic books. And amazingly, one of the people who read Gene Stratton Porter books when she was growing up was this author who wrote this little book called Silent Spring, Rachel Carson. So anyway, those are my classic books, and I'm in the process of reading Silent Spring. The thing is, when you turn 65, a lot of people think that life is over. It's not. One still has goals, still places they want to go. A lot of times people will go, you'll be dead. My answer to that is that I won't know that I didn't make it, will I? Actually, my furthest out goal is that I want to be at Westminster Abbey on Christmas Day in 2066. I know. Why? Because the answer to the standard question for security, mother's maiden name, for my father is Guernsey. And one of the things when William the Conqueror was crowned in 1066 on Christmas Day was that Guernsey became not a colony, but a possession that doesn't have to pay taxes to England, Anyway, so hopefully you've learned things. I saw people nodding who knew who Gene Stratton Porter was, so I am very impressed. And thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Vivian is one of our great volunteers. You don't have to have a degree to work in the library, Vivian. You don't have to have a master's degree.
Well, if you want to be a librarian.
That's true. I'm a pretend librarian. Who's next, Anne? I think the baby was going to tell, but the baby may have had to leave, so.
The next teller is Jan.
Jan. Jan, come on up. Oh, I forgot to mention the theme. Of course, Vivian did, New Horizons. Step up.
Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is a new horizon. I didn't even know about this, and I saw it online, so I thought, well, I'll come here. And then tonight coming down, I thought, well, I'll put my name in the hat. Here I am. I really thought you'd have too many speakers. So I am a new horizon. Everything's a new horizon. You are part of my new horizon. About, well, I'll back up a little bit. So my whole life is like being a mother, being a teacher, being a secretary, having a business, raising the kids, getting married twice, and then about 6 years ago, my husband got sick, really sick. And so for 5.5 years, I've been a caretaker. And I don't know how many of you can relate to that, but it's kind of like being underwater because you don't know what else is going on. So he was sick 5 times last winter. I was so wobbly. And in the emergency room and in the hospital. So in June, he went to a SNF, skilled nursing facility in the Dalles. So I have a lease here in Portland that doesn't expire until March. So I'm in Portland, and I go see him every other week for 2 to 4 days. And so these are my new horizons. So I found the Cedar Mill Library, I found the Beaverton Library, I found Elsie Stir, I signed up for a fitness class. I'm on stage talking about new horizons. Everything I do is a new horizon. And so it's kind of fun. I'm going to Croatia next month. I know. So I'm having a whole bunch of new horizons, and you get to be part of one of them.
Thanks, Jen. That was great. I love it when people just decide at the last minute they're going to tell. Who's next, Anna?
Susan Schmellen?
Susan Schmidlin, yes.
Schmidlin, sorry.
Come on up, Susan. You can use the mic stand up there.
Yes.
Okay, is that okay for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. When I hear of New Horizons, I think of adventure and second chances, and the master of those happens to be my dead dog Gus. Now, before you get all sniffly about him being dead and all, we'll come to that story later on. But my dead dog Gus has some quirks about him. He's a pretty unique character. And I'm going to need the audience to help keep everything straight. So I'm going to have you answer some questions for me. And don't worry, I'll give you the answers. So about my dead dog Gus, he's not really my dog. He was given to my daughter. He was the runt of the litter. Scruffy little thing. He couldn't be sold. Nobody wanted him. They gifted him to my daughter. When she brought him home to the farm, I fell in love with the little guy and kind of claimed him as my own. So this is where you come in. I am going to ask you a question, and you're going to pretend you're a scale. Hold your arms out to the sides, kind of tip the scale a little bit, and say, kind of. Kind of. Like that. So the question is my dead dog Gus mine? Kind of. Oh, you guys are great. This is going to be good. So the second quirk about this dog is that he's not actually dead. Well, he was dead for a year, but now he's back. But that's later on in the story. So now I'm going to have you answer another question. You're going to put your arms in front of you and say emphatically, no. No. So the question is my dead dog Gus dead? No. Got it. Now the third thing about him that's just a little bit odd is his name. When he came to us, his name was Gus. But his name would change all the time. Sometimes it would be Gustafer if he was looking rather perky and special. Sometimes he would be called Cat Chaser when you know what he was doing. Sometimes we'd call him Rascal or Dirty Rotten Butthead, depending on what adventure he was in the middle of. When he died, I started calling him my dead dog Gus. But that, again, is
Another story.
later in the story. So, we've talked about not quite mine. We've talked about not dead, absolutely. We talked about his name, yeah, lots of different things. So what are we missing? Oh, of course, my dead dog Gus is blind. Now, he didn't start out blind. It happened over years and years and years. He slowly lost his eyesight. But you can't tell him. He doesn't know because we haven't told him. He has no idea he can't see. He still runs in the fields like his back end is on fire. He chases rodents around with his nose just skimming along the dirt. He follows game trails into the forest and runs for miles. He gets lost a lot. We have to go find him a lot. But that's not the reason we call him Dead Dog Gus. One day, Gus was gone. Could not find him anywhere. We looked in the fields. We scoured the fence lines. We looked up the game trails far into the woods. We banged his dinner pans together for that clanking sound that would always bring him running. We called his name. We drove up and down the county road and whistled and hollered. No Gus. We looked for days. We looked for weeks. No dog. Dog gone. Weeks went by. Months went by. A year goes by. The dog was just, we assumed, off to his happy hunting ground somewhere. Never a trace. One day, my bull got out, and he went over to the neighbors, the not-so-close neighbors that had a heifer, and she was a brazen hussy. She lured my bull out of the bullpen, and he went through no less than 3 electric fences, 2 barbed wire fences, and a woven wire gate to get to this heifer, just so he could go a-courting. Well, when I found out my bull was loose, I had to go look for him. I found him in the pasture of that not-so-close neighbor. Well, I got over there and I started trying to corral him. And the neighbor's grandson came over to help me. We got a rope on him. We got a halter on him. And then we started that long walk home. When I finally got him back to the barn, I put him in a very secure pen and put him in timeout, because that was really bad behavior. I told him I would talk to him later. When I took the grandson home, when I pulled up to the house, there was Gus. He was next to the house. He was on a tether, right next to a little doggy house. And there were 6 or 7 other dogs there too. They all had tethers on. They were all right there at the house. When the grandmother came out of the house and saw me looking at my Gus, she said, "Oh yeah, he showed up, oh, probably a year ago." I was astonished. I couldn't believe it. "You have my dog?" She says, "Well, it's funny. He's a kind of a quirky little thing. And when he showed up, I was afraid you thought I'd stole him. So I kept him." Well, I was not going to hang around for this. I said thank you to the grandson. I grabbed my dog and I beat feet out of there as fast as I could. Now, for a blind, dead dog, he sure is able to have some wide horizons. And we're glad to have him home. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. I'm glad you got your dog back. Who's next, Ann?
Our next teller is Andrea.
Andrea. Where are you? There she is. Come on up. Would you like to leave the mic in the stand?
Yes.
So my name is Andrea Starr, and this is my very first time, so this is a new horizon for me. I was born in New Jersey. We lived in a very small beach town right across the bay from New York City. The town was called East Keansburg, and I was happy there. I'm the oldest of 5 children, and life seemed to be wonderful. We had lots of friends in the neighborhood. My best friend's name was Anne Boleyn. There was a lot of kids, and the school was great. But the thing we did the most was we went to the beach, and we are beach people. We were at the beach all the time, and life seemed to be really great there. My grandparents lived there, and all of my dad's family lived on the East Coast, some in either New Jersey or New York. And so we spent a lot of time at the beach with our family. So the only thing that was really negative that I can remember about this is that we lived 3 miles from the head of the mafia. But that really wasn't a concern from ours. So life seemed really idyllic until one day my parents came to us and said, we're thinking of moving. And we're like, what? And they said, yeah, we have written for information from a bunch of different states that we consider to be good places to live. And we've decided that Portland, Oregon is the best place to raise a family. And we were shocked. We couldn't think of why this would be the case because we knew nobody in any place in Oregon, let alone Portland. All of our family was here. And my dad's job was here, and so this was really a concern for us. So my sister Sheila and I, we decided that it was probably because my dad was wanted by this guy from the mafia. After all, he knew that the mafia guy put garbage man on his tax return as his occupation. So that's why we thought we were going to be moving. But as it turned out, that wasn't the case at all. My parents really did want to have a better life for their 5 children. So that summer, my parents loaded all 5 of us children into the green station wagon along with our tent and sleeping bags and all of the stuff that you need to go camping. And we camped from New Jersey to Colorado to Southern California and up the coast to Oregon. So when we get to Oregon, we don't know anybody. And the very first thing we have to do is find a place to live. And so my mom, she finds a little park in a trailer court in downtown Portland called the Portland Trailer Court. And there's a little park in the middle. She asked the owner if we could set up our tent in this little park, and so we do. So we set up our tent, and I'm very happy to be in one place because all along the way we had driven all day long, and we had camped for the night, and my sister helped my dad set up the tent, and I helped my mom get ready for the meal in the evening. The other thing that I really didn't like going across the country was my youngest brother, my only brother, was a baby at the time, and he was still in cloth diapers. Yeah. And it was my job to rinse out his dirty, poopy cloth diapers in the public restrooms all across the United States. So you can imagine my excitement when we finally get to Portland. I'm thinking, I don't have to do this anymore, but I was wrong. While we're in the trailer court, I still have to empty out and clean out my brother's dirty, poopy diapers in the restroom, the public restroom at the trailer park. And I asked my mother, why do I have to do it? And she said, because you are the oldest. Anyway, so we live in this trailer court for a month. And every morning my mom loads all 5 of us kids into the station wagon and my dad, and she drops my dad off in downtown Portland, and he goes to look for a job, and my mom spends the rest of the day driving around trying to find a house for us to rent. Well, eventually my dad does find a job. He is a draftsman at Home Building Plan Service on Northeast Sandy Boulevard. And my mom finds a house for us to rent. It is on 1518 Northeast Fremont. And that's where we move into. Now the very first thing that we do, of course, is we head to the beach. And we go to the beach. It is a beautiful day, and the sun is shining, and we are so excited to finally be at the beach, because we miss the beach from New Jersey. And we get our swimming suits on, and we jump in the water. Yeah, you already know, you're ahead of me. We are stunned at how freezing cold it is. I learned to swim in the Atlantic Ocean in New Jersey, and this is nothing like the Atlantic Ocean. It is freezing cold, but we don't care. We're so happy to be in the ocean that we swim until our lips are blue and our legs are numb. And it doesn't make any difference to us that we don't know anybody yet in Oregon. We don't have any friends, and none of our relatives are here, but we feel at home at the beach. And this is the beginning of our new horizon of living in Oregon. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. That's great. Yeah, I don't know how those kids do it in the water down there. We get on the beach and they're just like, they're in there with nothing, almost nothing on, and they don't seem to be cold at all.
That water is so cold.
Yeah. Oh, so one quick mention. There's a $10 Book Corner certificate to the, not the winner, but the lucky one who's drawn out of the hat at the end of the night. However, I forgot to get the certificate. So, if your name gets pulled, see me after the show. I'm going to get your address so I can send it to you. I'm blaming the OLCC for this one. Who's next, Ann?
The next teller is Janice Collins.
Janice, come on up. Janice is a long-time teller here. She was at one of our first slams for Art of the Story. Are you using the mic stand? Or no?
I'll use the mic stand.
Okay.
I'm glad you didn't say one of the older person. Long time is better. Well, my story is about girls becoming women, or more specifically about me and my girlfriend Colleen becoming teenagers, which to us was exactly the same thing. This happened to us when we were 10. Well, in our, so we knew 10 was not technically teen, but 10 was within striking distance of 13, and really, what is 3 years at that age? And besides, we figured that experience far outpaced chronology, and we had passed all of the milestones to be